to talk about what it is actually like to have a service dog and to bring them everywhere with you. So one of the number one things that I am by people all the time is, wow, I wish I could bring my dog everywhere with me. And I understand, because it is really great. I love letting him experience these things with me. And while it is great and while it is awesome, there's a lot of work that goes into making him able to come with me everywhere. He has done over 2 years at this point of training, where we have worked in multiple different environments. He has gone to grocery stores, to malls, horse barns, anything that I could bring him to, I brought him to, because it allowed him to get used to all different kinds of noises, all different sounds, different environments, different textures on the floor, which is something you don't really think of, but it is something that they have to get used to. Some floors are slippery, more slippery than others. And honestly, bringing him around everywhere with me brings a lot of stress. It doesn't matter if I have taken him on a walk before we went somewhere, but every time we are in a store, I have the worst anxiety about him possibly pooping in the store, because dogs aren't robots. At the end of the day, yes, he is a service dog, and yes, he is technically my medical equipment, but he's not a robot. He will have accidents. His stomach hurts. He could puke. He could a store, and it's not okay. But it is okay because it's an accident. If it's happening all the time, that's a problem. But if he's allowed to have an off day. Yet again, he is a dog, not a robot. And I feel like that's something that not a lot of people think about. Like, you see a service dog and you're like, oh, that's not a real service dog. He's pulling and he's doing all of this, and that's not how a real service dog should act. He can be a real service dog, but he's just having an off day. That's how Weller was when I first switched him from working in his gentle leader to working in just a flat collar. He pulls because he's used to going on walks in a flat collar, and he's allowed to go way ahead of me and sniff wherever he wants. And so we have to work on getting him to dial it back. It doesn't mean he's a fake. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's just something that we have to work on. It's just an off thing. Another thing is he could act out. Some service dogs, they hear a noise and they'll bark. And it's okay. They don't know what that noise is. They're a dog. They don't understand. They just hear a loud noise and they're like, I have to respond to this. And also along those lines, it is also super stressful taking a dog everywhere with you, because there's always a fear of judgment. If my dog acts out, does something that's outside of the norm of a service dog, everybody's gonna think that I'm faking. Everybody's gonna talk down on me and my dog's training. Somebody might be filming it or taking our picture to put on service dog blacklist. And that's not, he's having an off day. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world if your dog has an off day. They're allowed to do that. We're all going to take a deep breath, and we're going to stop judging people so abruptly. Another thing that I wasn't really aware of before I got my dog is the public. The public does not know how to act around service dogs. I can't tell you the amount of people that have come up to me and told me about their past service dog that looked just like Weller and somehow died in a horrible, horrible way. Think like hamster deaths. Like, oh yeah, my little brother threw him against the wall and he exploded. I hear hamster deaths about dogs quite often. That of course always look exactly like your dog. That's always a fun one to get. People will come up to you and they'll go, "What's wrong with you?" Which, that's not really an appropriate question anyway, but you can choose to give them a little bit of an answer, or you can just tell them, "I'm sorry, I don't really feel comfortable explaining my personal medical history to a stranger." Because people don't really realize until you say something like that, and then they're like, oh. Like, taking pictures. I have had so many people that are like, oh, it's just a cute dog, let me just take a picture real quick. But then if you look at them and go, hey, no, it's kind of like taking a picture of a decorated wheelchair. They realize, oh, that's not okay. And so the public also loses their marbles over these. Dog shoes. Dog shoes are their favorite thing in the entire world. Number one issue that I have had with public. They see dogs in shoes and they lose their marbles. And it's fun like the first few times because you're like, yeah, okay, my dog has Crocs. It's so cool. But then at some point, people are always going, oh my god, I love your shoes, and talking to your dog instead of talking to you and distracting him. And we can't be distracting service dogs, guys. They have a very important job. Talking about that, people don't really follow the vest. You can spend so much money, as you can, as you can see, I have so many vests that have this logo, these no contact symbols. People don't follow them. The amount of people that, especially when we went to Universal, would still try to do all of these was actually insane. And you'd have to correct them, and they'd always look at you and they go, well, I'm just saying hi. Yeah, you saying hi will actually distract my dog and could make him miss an alert, which is not something that we want to be doing. Another question I get asked all the time from the public is, oh, well, you trained your dog, can you train my dog? I want my dog to be as well behaved as your dog. I can't. I'm not a professional trainer by any means. Me and Weller are still learning, okay? We don't know. Half the time, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just kind of go with it, and Weller makes it work. We work together, and we figure something out that works. Or we just figure it out. I'm not a professional. I'm not meant to do that. Another thing I get all the time is, well, that's not a real service dog because you don't look disabled. Invisible disabilities exist. That we get all the time is people coming up to us and going, well, you're not disabled. You don't look disabled. You're just faking because you want to bring your dog everywhere. Guys, bringing a dog everywhere is fun, but like I'm telling you right now, like this video is all about, it is so much more stressful than people that don't have to bring a dog everywhere realize. I love him, and I love that he gets to go everywhere with me. But it's so stressful. And another thing that can happen is people can deny you access because, yes, service dog handlers are all very well aware and very knowledgeable about the laws, the ADA laws, but not everybody in the general public is. So not everybody's gonna know what exactly are the laws. Some companies might ask you for an ID card, and in the US we don't have ID cards. Some program dogs might have ID cards. Also, worrying about fakes. If you're walking around with your service dog, which my service dog is owner trained, but even though he is owner trained, he is still worth a good $30,000 right now just based on the training he's had, which is an insane amount of money. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have $30,000 to just dump on another dog. So, one big thing that I'm always terrified of every time I go out is a fake service dog. Not all fake service dogs are reactive, but a lot of them are, and they can end your dog's career. One attack from a fake service dog can make a real service dog unable to work. And that's not great. Now, with all that being said, I will say I don't regret getting a service dog. I love it. I think it's great. And I think it's totally worth it to do all of these things and to be able to take him everywhere with me and do everything with me. And with all of that being said, you don't always need to bring your service dog. My dog doesn't come with me to nail salons, hair salons, or my job. And that doesn't make him any less of a real service dog.